For those who are familiar with our previous generation instruments, this will be very, very similar. The user interface is still one of the most, if not the most, easy to use in the field of surge testing. This is a Model D. We're going to do a very quick demonstration of how that works. Like with the previous generation D models, we have 6 high voltage leads, meaning that we can do the low voltage measurements on the high voltage test leads. So we're going to test on this little 460 volt assembled motor here, connecting our test leads to phases 1, 2, and 3, and the ground lead to the frame. When we're ready to start a test, you click the test button. We're now in test mode. We will work our way from left to right along the bottom row of tabs. We're actually on the last tab here, the test summary screen. This is where we'll see our pass-failed recommendations at the end of the test set. For now, what we want to do is add a test description, just a brief description of what we are testing on. In this case, it's an assembled motor. You can select a test stage. We have some pre-defined test stages from ESA and IEEE. We can select this used incoming, for example, operator information. And now we're ready to go to the setup screen, which is in the bottom left corner. At the top, you'll see your high pot and surge test voltage formulas. In this case, it's 2 times the operating voltage plus 1000. This is associated with that test stage we selected. If you don't like the formula or the resulting voltage, any of the white fields can be changed. So let's say you don't like 1920, you prefer 1900. You can go there and override it. You also have the option of clicking the drop down here and selecting a different test stage if you choose to do so. Next step is to add the humidity and winding temperature. Today it's 65% here, about 23 degrees Celsius. And then we go to auto mode and limit setup. In this case, we will do an inductance, capacitance, impedance measurement, winding resistance, megohm, DC high pot, and a surge test pulse to pulse. We know that this motor has some rotor influence associated with it, so we'll include the pulse to pulse test right off the bat. 3-phase application, 500 volt megohm. We're going to do a 10-second megohm profile, and we're also going to do a 10-second high pot profile, just so the demonstration is a little quicker. On the right-hand side, we have our pass-fail limits. We will leave these at the default for now. You have the option to include partial discharge if you choose to do so as well. Exit setup, start full auto test, make sure nobody's touching the motor and your test leads are connected. Then press the red button and let the instrument run through the measurements. So we did the inductance measurements in all 3 phases very quickly here. We're now on to the winding resistance measurements. We have lead 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 1. It will calculate the max delta R. If it's below the limit, moves on to the megohm measurement. Automatically ramps up the voltage to our predefined 500 volt. It will sit there for 10 seconds and then automatically discharge. The megohm reading was good, so we're now on to the high pot measurement. It will automatically ramp it up to our design test voltage here as well. Sit there for the predefined 10 seconds and then automatically discharge and move on to our surge test. So that's surge in lead 1, surge in lead 2, and surge in lead 3. So we can see that the waveforms are not overlapping, but that's because we have an assembled motor with the rotor installed, causing some rotor influence. So our pulse-to-pulse test gave us up to 5.9% difference. If we click that box, we can see a bar chart showing that test result. Last screen, last tab, we have our pass-fail recommendations. All pass, this motor is good at this test voltage. If you want to, you can always go back and you can redo or repeat certain measurements and tests. If you're satisfied with the results you have, click the folder button, everything is automatically stored. And now you can go and say view print pass test. You can say display test and review the same screens that we just looked at, or you can say print report. So if I do that, print report, say print, it will now save that test result as a pre-formatted PDF report directly on the instrument. At the end of the day, you can folder all the way back out to your customer directory or motor database. You can insert the USB flash drive and say sync files to the flash drive, or you can use the optional Wi-Fi or Ethernet feature to transfer your files and printed reports directly to your server or PC.